We want to welcome you to Q&A with Doctors A and J, brought to you by Alterman and Johnson, Family Chiropractors.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Dr. Johnson with Alterman and Johnson Family Chiropractors, and this is Q&A with Doctors A and J. And through this resource, we are bringing to our community and our practice members different practitioners and experts in their field that have something to offer that's in line with a chiropractic lifestyle. So today I'm talking with Christy, and Christy is a midwife with Jacksonville Community Midwives. I don't know why that's a little tongue twister for me, but hi, Christy, and welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here with us. So you've been a midwife here for a little bit, you were telling me, and I'm curious about how your calling to midwifery came to be.
Yeah, mine's a little interesting. All of my children were born with midwives. My first was born in a military hospital, and very empowering experience. I was young, 21, and then after that, I had a birth center birth, which was, seamless. And then my third son was born at home with a midwife I hired, but came a little fast in an hour. And at the time, his father delivered him, and the midwife showed up 15 minutes later. And so, after that, it really did inspire me. It wasn't anything like, oh, I'm going to be a midwife. I started, helping moms with feeding through the Leche League and, just raising my babies. And then it was a few years before I started midwifery school that I started looking at the midwifery school in Florida and was like, if I ever go back to Florida, I'm going to definitely try. And I applied a month before the deadline and got in, and it's been history ever since.
So you've been involved in this field in one way or another for a long time then.
For sure.
Starting with your own births.
Yeah, as a pregnant mom with midwives, and then having that wonderful experience being surrounded by I had two doulas, and it was it wasn't planned, it just ended up happening to be that way. And they were my doulas through all my births, and just really inspired at a young age by some strong women.
Well, and you used a word in there that I think is so relevant in the birthing process, and that's empowerment. And I think that that's one thing that I would say having a certain type of birth, and a midwife birth, a home birth, or a birthing center birth tends to bring forth, and that is empowering the mom and supporting mom how she wants to move through this.
For sure.
So we're empowering moms a little bit differently in our current climate.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you guys have had to do backflips to keep up with everything because, we don't have the same contact with our practice members that you have. So I can't imagine what you've been doing. And I'm curious about some of the adaptations or some of the changes that you've had to make while still maintaining that close, intimate relationship that you have with moms, especially in that prenatal period. So can you share with us what that's looked like?
Sure, yes. So backflip sometimes seems like an understatement because things have happened so fast. It has been lots of meetings and lots of figuring all the things out and making sure we're following CDC guidelines, ACOG guidelines, and then also maternal fetal medicine has come out with some guidelines as well that we're trying to combine the three and seeing what everybody else in the community and, statewide and nationwide are doing. And one of those things is reducing the amount of in-person visits for prenatal care. And so with that being said, reducing that, women are only going to be seen by midwives or their OB provider, whichever they choose, at the very beginning, at 20 weeks, at 28 weeks, 36 weeks, and every week thereafter until delivery. Those are considered essential visits. And so everything other than that, where you would see your midwife several times between the 28 and the 36 week, is not happening. It's a televisit, unless it's an important, urgent, something that needs to be done in person. And that has caused, a handful of women, some of them, to be concerned about not being able to have access to your midwife. They're like, I enjoy the visits. I need to be able to see you, to build that relationship as well, especially when considering a home birth relationship is incredibly important, and trust. And so those visits become so, like I said, so important to to build that relationship, and they're not there anymore. So what we're doing is telehealth. So they can FaceTime us, or they can talk to us on the phone for those what they call non-essential visits. We're asking them to get their own automatic blood pressure cuffs, their urine dip strips. And if they can't get the dip strips, then we can hand them out to them. They're asking them to measure their bellies and talking to them about that. If they can access a Doppler, that's great after 28 weeks. If not, we're really discussing fetal kick counts and what that looks like, and the apps you can download. And the other thing is, we're accessible 24/7. And, I've been telling our women, I said, if you're just having an emotionally or mentally off day, call us, even in the middle of the night. I mean, because our phones are on, call us if you're having trouble with the quarantine, if you're having, you need to connect with your midwife, or you just need someone to talk to, because this is intense for everyone. We're all homeschooling now, which is not in everybody's plan. Vacations and trips and weekends out, and the beach is canceled, everything. We're all inside and kind of going a little, cabin fever is happening. So I just encourage women to realize too that the world has shut down. It's not just midwifery care, but that we are here for them. And yeah.
So two thoughts in response to that. One, you are not only there for them, but it sounds like you're going above and beyond to be there for them physically, mentally, emotionally. And that's a lot.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And then I think also just for moms out there, pregnant women, to hear that these are not individual decisions that midwives and OBs are making for their own practices.
No.
There are ACOG guidelines, there's CC, right? So following the recommended guidelines and protocols, and you're not at choice in that, but it is
right,
the thing to do right now. So
yes, yeah, and especially to keep moms and babies safe, because they are considered a vulnerable population, as long with the elderly and people who are immunocompromised. We don't want mom to get sick, and we definitely don't want baby to get sick, because what that looks like in the hospital is just a lot of new changes that people are not very accepting of.
Yes, I'm just hearing about those as well. All right, so let's talk about some other changes that are taking place in a hospital setting, and let's see how that looks in a home birth setting. So hospitals in Jacksonville are varying a little bit. I'm hearing that some are now allowing a doula in the room, some are not, or that's changing day to day.
Mm-hmm.
How does that look for home birth? How are you managing that? Doula, birth photographer, what is that looking like?
Okay, so that is a good question. We are limiting the birth to who lives in the home. So if mom, dad, and grandma live in the home, they can attend the birth as long as there's been no exposure and nobody has a fever. That being said, sister-in-law down the street cannot come to the birth. We ask that she stays in her house, even if she's been over a few times. We were very much trying to limit exposure for not only ourselves, but everyone in the birth. Children are still out there, but we ask that a care provider is specifically chosen for the children, and they are in a different room or area of the home than in the actual birth area. Birth photographers and doulas, we are allowing them to come, but with some guidelines. They should be bringing their own PPE, so their own masks and their own gloves. The supplies are so limited that we cannot share our own with other people. And they have to sign a form to confirm that they're not sick and they haven't been exposed to anybody with known COVID. Nobody with a fever is allowed. We are taking temperatures of everyone who's at the birth. And so that's kind of what we're doing going forward. So we're still allowing quite a few people at the birth as opposed to the hospital, but we're also trying to limit it as well, as the whole family can't come, grandma, and then just going over what are safe practices right now as far as social distancing is concerned at a birth.
So it sounds like you're walking that line of wanting to use proper safeguards and wanting the mom to feel supported and have her resources available to her.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it sounds like under the circumstances, you're navigating this beautifully.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot.
You're welcome. Did you want to add something else?
We're doing our best, to be honest, and as everybody else is. And I know that there's been a recent guideline from the CDC that everybody wears masks. And so we do have cloth masks that the community has provided us that we are giving to dads and birth attendees, not necessarily mom. I mean, mom can wear a mask, but we're already going to be geared up in our own PPE to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So that still is up in the air how we're choosing to do that. If they come to the office, anybody, we're also asking that nobody comes to the office to their appointments right now. If they have to have the dad, father of the baby come, then we are asking them to wear masks, and moms are being given cloth masks in prenatal visits as well. So just because that's the newest in the last few days or the week that everybody wears a mask. So.
Right. And it's changing by the hour. What's the next requirement? What's the next level of safeguard?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Just having to roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Christy, well, thank you. This has been really informative, and I've really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit here. And what we'll do is we will post links so people know how to get in touch with you when we post this video. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been great. Appreciate it.
Well, I hope to see you at a birth someday soon.
Yeah, right. Okay, anything else?
No, take care. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, hon. Bye-bye.